When people go missing, the majority of the time they turn up or are found well. However, there are cases of missing people who seem to have vanished without a trace. Despite the best efforts of search teams and loved ones, their disappearances remain unsolved and unexplained. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at mysterious disappearances. Joshua Maddox. Joshua Maddox was a normal 18-year-old who lived in the Pike National Forest in Teller County, Colorado in 2008. He loved nature and hiking, so when he left to go on a walk one day, nobody thought anything of it until he failed to return that night. His disappearance sparked searches all over the area for months, hoping to uncover Josh safe and sound, or at least get some answers as to what might have happened to him. However, he was never found and continued to be listed as a missing person for years. In a seemingly unrelated course of events, in 2015, a builder who owned an old, decaying cabin in the woods that had been abandoned for over 10 years decided to demolish it in order to begin developing the land that it stood on. Before demolition, the builder came out to check that everything was in order and entered the cabin for the first time in many years. He noticed a smell of rot and decay in the cabin, but attributed it to the many animals who made the decrepit building their home in the intervening years. However, when demolition began, starting with taking apart the chimney to reuse the bricks, workers were horrified to discover that there was a body of a young man inside the chimney, which was likely the source of the smell. The police and coroner were called to investigate and remove the body, and his dental records positively identified it as the body of Joshua Maddox. Maddox was found in a fetal position, with his legs curled up under his chest and his feet above his head, leading investigators to hypothesize that he might have gotten stuck in an attempt to enter the abandoned building and explore. Although the coroner agreed with this guess, as the autopsy did not reveal any trauma or suspicious substances and ruled the end of his life as accidental, there are those who disagree. For example, a heavy metal grate covering the chimney had disappeared and a heavy breakfast bar had been forcibly removed from the wall and dragged in front of the chimney to cover it. Additionally, many thought it was odd that Joshua would have voluntarily entered the chimney head first, and his clothing was found folded inside of the cabin next to the fireplace. He had only been wearing a thin thermal shirt when he entered the chimney. Despite several tip-offs and leads claiming that Joshua was finished off, the police were never able to determine what had actually happened, and the case remains a mystery to this day. Ali Nadiri. Whilst 2020 was a nightmare of a year for many, Ali Nadiri and his family and friends have undoubtedly had it worse than the majority of us. August was the start of an awful period for this particular family. As of August 23, 2020, Ali Nadiri went missing from his hike. The 52-year-old is reportedly an avid hiker, frequently embarking upon the Eagle Mountain paths and trails, so it is unlikely he simply lost his way whilst adventuring. Visiting as often as daily, Nadiri surely felt safe enough to journey this hike alone, as he was confident that he knew his paths, a mistake we are sure he regrets. There was a large clue presented to the research teams. He was caught on film at the hiking trail. In Eagle Mountain, Canada, a camera placed on the trail captured Nadiri on what was possibly his final hike. Whilst on the surface this seemed incredibly reassuring, it failed to give any new details as to where the team could find Nadiri. An army of volunteers, approximately 40 to 60 in number, were a part of this search team, hoping to find Ali Nadiri alive and well. This group of good-hearted people were led by the Coquitlam Search and Rescue, with individual teams from North Vancouver and Lions Bay aiding in the rescue of Nadiri too. After some initial searching, the police concluded there did not seem to have been any deliberate, malicious interference or other foul play, with no leads of evidence to suggest this. The case had been referred to as likely being a hiker who was simply unprepared for the conditions and had somehow gotten lost. Many interested in the case have deemed this unlikely due to Nadiri often visiting Eagle Mountain, so why would he have decided to deviate from a trail he knows inside out? Michael McLaughlin concluded the search, stating, "Given the time frame that Nadir has been gone, his lack of supplies, and the vast backcountry where he went missing, it doesn't make sense to continue searching and potentially put our SAR teams at risk." He had prefixed this though, highlighting that the volunteers within the search and rescue team had searched all the possible trails, as well as many off-trail and more risky routes Nadir may have taken. It was after 7 days of searching that the search came to a halt. Having accumulated more than 2,400 combined hours of searching, a search team with the manpower of 183 pairs of eyes on hand and 48,000 square meters of land having been looked over, it was seemingly increasingly unlikely that the hunt for Nadir would become a success story. Although it is a devastating decision for the authorities to have to make, it seems to be one with the intention of protecting all of the volunteers helping on this recovery mission. As the further the search expanded, the more dangerous the land became, and the certainty and chances of finding Nadir continued to fall. Despite having GPS, drones, helicopters and search dogs on the look for Ali Nadir, there has been little success to this story, with him remaining missing with no new news as of March 2021. Adam Clayton Lyle Jones missing at the Grand Canyon. Disappearances of people in national parks have gained notoriety ever since the Missing 411 was published. If there is one certainty, it is that at least one person a year will go mysteriously missing at any of the 419 national parks and monuments in America, although the actual annual number is estimated to be up to 1,000 missing people. There is a plethora of things that can go wrong when visiting the vast wilderness. The cruelty of nature is no joke, and many people find themselves on the losing side of a battle against survival. Many cases can merely be speculated on, and although some of these cases do eventually get solved, there's many that will remain a mystery. Though the IBS, or Investigative Services branch of the law enforcement, generally try to solve cases as efficiently and quickly as possible, this sadly is not always the case, and most often than not, cases tend to grow cold for months or years afterwards. These cases are not closed and remain open and may become active should new evidence surface. Kathy Cupper, one of the spokespeople for the IBS, has stated, "It's always there on the table. Sometimes a tip will come in, someone will hear something, and it will go active again." Adam Clayton Lyle Jones is one of the unfortunate missing victims whose case has grown cold. Jones went missing on the 31st of March back in 2011 and has not been found. The man, who was only 23 at the time of his disappearance and would now be 33 years old, was last said to have been last seen by his family in the Gulf Breeze in Florida. His family claim he left home early in the afternoon in a blue Oldsmobile Delta 88, and that the only personal possession he took with him was his laptop, no other notable belongings. Little did Jones's family realize that would be the last time they would ever get to see him again. It took until the 5th of May 2011 for a park ranger to acknowledge the abandoned Delta 88 vehicle parked at the South Rim center of the Grand Canyon National Park. At the time, Jones had not yet been reported as a missing person and therefore not initially considered as a victim. Park rangers managed to contact Jones's parents about the abandoned car, who then proceeded to file the missing persons report to the police. Contents found within the car included an itinerary of various routes of California cities and places in Denver, Colorado. Surprisingly, there was not a mobile phone in the car, as Jones did not have his phone on him when he went missing. To this day, investigators have no idea whether he was lost or injured in the wilderness, or if something else, far more morbid, might have happened. Furthermore, there is no actual evidence that he even entered the Grand Canyon Park. No photographic or witness proof that he was there apart from the car that was found in the car park. With so little to go off, investigators have had a difficult time finding any clues to Adam Jones's whereabouts. But what do you make of these disappearances and the stories behind them? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.